What's up, everybody? It's your man JFilt, and welcome to another edition of Learn How to Sample Like in collaboration with the good folks over at Tracklib, where we are investigating crate digging, sample flipping, and production techniques of the great ones. And in this episode, Nottz. So let's get into it. So if this is your first time, let me say welcome. Shout out your city, shout out your weapon of choice. If you like beat making videos and things of that nature, please consider subscribing, hit that notify bell so you are notified each time I upload new content. So Tracklib is basically a online crate digging platform, so you can find samples and you can get them cleared and licensed hassle-free. It is subscription based, so you can have access to a lot of tracks for as little as $5.99, and the catalog is crazy and they're always updating it. So first of all, if you're not familiar with Nottz, please do your homework. This man has, I don't even know where to begin. Knife Wonder, who I've also covered, has said that he's the greatest producer on the planet Earth. He said that. Nottz is one of Dr. Dre's favorite producers, okay? Do I need to continue? This man has produced for Busta Rhymes, Biggie Smalls, Scarface, Kanye West, even Jay Dilla, man. So, you know, it's endless. That's just a few. So the thing that I love about Nottz is he is straight boom bap to the core. And we're going to break down one of his styles because he has a ton of styles. So anyway, when it comes to crate digging, I'm going to give you 3 ways to kind of crate dig. So the first way is we want to look in the genres of R&B, soul, and soundtrack library. Also in the years between 1970 and 89, and we want to stay in the region of North America. And when you do that, you have this list right here. We'll go through some of them. Very soulful. You want to look for soulful tracks. Nice and warm sounding. Rhodes, pianos, you know, anything that's emotional sounding, because he has like that emotional sound. So he can get really, really emotional and dramatic. Okay. Stuff without drums always works because that gives you more leverage to use your own drums. A good way to figure that out is when you're looking at these waves, you know, you can tell by the transients. See that? Emotional. Pianos always work. Now let me give you another way, and that is to simply to go to collections and type in gospel. Now I want you to click on Lord Have Mercy. Click on that. This is a collection, and this is a great collection of songs that I think Nottz would sample, man, because he does sample gospel. You hear how soulful that is, man? I could hear Nottz doing that. Ooh. See, it's all in how you flip it. Another piano.
I heard a voice one day.
Ooh, all day, all day.
Jesus said, "Come unto me and rest."
Ooh. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you the third way. And this is why it's important to check out the blog for Tracklib. When you go through the blog, you have different articles. And this was an article, Soul Folk in Action, the Staple Singers. And when you come across stuff like this, just listen to the samples, man. See this? Funky gospel fueled R&B. So that's just an example, man. You have a lot of different samples. So, you know, just go through the stuff. I'm going to let you hear some of the samples that I came across using these techniques. I came across this sample right here called the Villain's Theme. Dramatic. Right? Very, very familiar. But, you know, it's dramatic. You know, got the piano. There's no drums. Speaking of drums, I found this. You can do that just going through more collections. Boom, bap. And then just go through the records till you come across something. All right, so once you do that and establish all that, let's go to the DAW and break down what we did. If you are interested in this type of content, I have more. Check it out. I will leave this playlist down below. I've covered Madlib, Kanye, Knife Wonder, a whole bunch of people. So, just wanted to show you that. And for our tempo, we want to stay in the range of 80 to 95 BPM. In this case, I went 80. And let's start with the drums. So these are the drums. So when you take a whole song, you don't need all this. You just take your favorite chops. And I kept it very simple. We doing boom bap, very simple. These are the only chops that I use out of that whole long song. Right? You find the kick, you find the snare, chop at that if you want to. Kept it very simple, and you want your drums to knock, okay? Let me shout out his drums. Nottz has his own drums, guys, and follow him on Instagram because he's always posting videos and you can study what he does, man, and get inspired all the time, because I do every time. His drums are crazy. So if you go to this website, and I'll leave a link down below, if you want his drums, you want his sounds, check it out. I just had to do this out of respect, man. I had to. Moving on to the piano sample, I wanted to use that as my introduction to the beat, so you kind of know where it was from, just to give you an idea of how it can flip. No key change or anything, nothing. And then I go into the piano, so check out the chops. Notice how I'm chopping each individual note. That way I can use it however I want to. And these are the chops that I use. See that? See where it's broken down? That way it gives me the most control. You don't have to just use the first 8 or 16 bars of a song or the last 6 or 8 bars or whatever. Just find whatever chops you like within the whole song. Does that make sense? And just use them. Flip them. That's what flipping is, man. So again, I did not change the key or anything like that. Moving on to the bass line. Now, to me, Nottz is on the Mount Rushmore of bass lines. I can't say it any other way, man. I love his bass lines, and his pocket is crazy. Okay, so anyway, let me show you the bass that I did. And the sound that I used was this free plugin called Ample Bass. I've been talking about this a lot. Okay, did you hear something right there? You hear that? A lot of times you can use a bass not just for the sounds, but as a percussion. So kind of like drums. So you might not hear that much, but you'll feel it. And that's one of those things where it's like, what is that? Why does it sound so dope? It's because it's stuff like that. Little subtleties. Another thing that Nottz does with the bass, his bass lines, is he copies whatever the sample is doing. So listen to this part real quick. Right? All you have to do is use your ear. It might take a while for you to do it, but use your ears and match those notes with the bass. So together. So you're kind of like layering that sample with the bass. Got it? Yeah, try it out. Do you? And again, as I'm going over this stuff, we are not trying to be a clone. This is all just inspiration, so you can flip it in your own way. And another thing, I decided to use a second bass line because Nottz does this thing where he uses like a pitch, like he bends notes. Check it out. It could be at random parts of the beat. Like, what? And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Fat Albert. If you, for those that remember the cartoon Fat Albert, listen to the theme song. Y'all remember this? Those sliding bass notes, man, that works, man. Next sound that I used was choir. And again, we wanted emotional sounding, real dramatic sounding. So I just did a couple of notes, right? So that's the kind of thing you might hear in a movie, you know, like maybe a scary movie, something haunting, very dramatic. And then I eventually added to it with a second track. Notice these easy chords I'm playing. F minor. And then I did a G diminished chord. So just very basic chords. The last thing is space. That's like the running theme, guys. I always use space, and Nottz really uses space. That means dropouts. You taking out the drums at certain points. You taking out the sample at certain points. You're soloing things, stuff like that. So let's go from the top. Pay attention to all the techniques, and here we go. Got the intro. Hear that bass? You hear that pitch bend? Space. More space. Got the choir in there. More dramatics. Emotional. And there you have it. That is the beat. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's another producer that you would like me to cover, write it down in the comments below. I'm going to leave a special link for you guys, which will allow you to have 15 tracks for free. So just check it out. It's your man JFilt. I'm sending peace and positive energy.